So I want to, now that you've looked over the text of the second part of the Rodef Sugya, I want to go through and just make sure you've got a few key things. So here's our Sugya, which has now been divided into its set of component parts, where the first part here is the question we want to run class. The second part is telling us what we're going to do. Atya, right? Bekal v'chomer minara marasa. It comes, we've seen that before, through a kal v'chomer from another case. The kal v'chomer is going to prove a bit by comparing the case we want to know about, to a case we apparently already do know about, nara marasa. Third section, the ma is the sort of the if, the sort of beginning first half of the comparison, right? Here's what we know about case A. So then case B, alachat kam v'chama, right? And alachat kam v'chama comes the end of a sentence, and then here v'chi, that question/challenge word, tells you we're done with our source, even though it's not presented exactly as a source. But we're done with our claim, and now we're challenging it. Okay, those are our parts. So let's understand them part by part. 1. Elenitan latino benafsho minalan, mina lan, from where lan lanu to us is exactly the same as minayin. Therefore, slightly different language, but exactly the same question that we had asked in the first Breita. Since the first answer was rejected, we're looking for a different answer. Then it says, Atya bekal v'chomer. It comes through a kal v'chomer. We reach that conclusion through a kal v'chomer. And the kal v'chomer comes from na'ara ha'ma'orasa. So we're already familiar with that case, both because we saw it in the Mishnah and because we looked at the Na'ara Ha'ma'orasa passage. Now, it's important to remember that in the biblical passage we looked at, the focus was Na'ara Ha'ma'orasa. There was a connection made to Rotzeach, but Rotzeach was being used to teach us something about Na'ara Ha'ma'orasa. Here, it's the reverse. Now, what is the Kal V'chomer? So we have two parts. We have the if, and then the all the more so part. So the if. Ma, if. Na'ara Ha'ma'orasa. Shelo ba ela lefogma. That statement doesn't come, comes in the masculine, doesn't come except, right? Lo ela, together. He's coming only lifgoma. The infinitive would be lifgom, but that hey, the direct object, ota, turns into lifgoma. So he's coming only to blemish her, to disgrace her. We'll talk in class about what that word's really saying about why this act is considered so bad. But at this moment, he's only coming to do pgam, and yet Amrat Torah nitan latzil b'nafsho. Remember, when we say Amrat Torah, that davka means the Torah didn't literally say this. This is a principle that we derive from Torah. We're going to find out later where we derive it from. But for Na'ara Ha'ma'orasa, where he's only coming to do pgam, the Torah says you may. Hatzila b'nafsho. We're going to talk a lot about that language, especially this letter right here. You can kill him. Rodef achar chavero l'horgo. Again, the language of our Mishnah. In the case of the guy trying to murder, al achat kama v'chama, even more so. So, now, So we have Pagam is the lesser case. Remember, Kal v'chomer is to go from a lesser case to a greater case. If it's this is true about younger people, even more so about older people, or it's true about small things, even more so about bigger things. Right? Pagam is the less severe case. It is less severe than death. And again, but also, remember the comparison is we're going from the known to the unknown. We know, the Torah has told us that in the case of Nara Marasa, where there's only Pgam, you can kill him. And if that is so, that you can kill him to stop him from doing Pgam, it seems obvious that you can kill him to stop him from doing murder. Seems plausible. That's the argument. That's the Kal v'chomer argument. Okay? And then, that's the end of the argument part. And then we have the question. V'chi onshin min hadin. Din is a word that we've seen in a few different contexts. Here, it means not law, but logic. Right? Logic meaning not from a direct source or proof, but from logical reasoning. Kal v'chomer is an example of din. Right? Wait, what just happened there? Not what I wanted to have happen, so let's try again. The problem is, do we punish from logic? And particularly when we're talking about a severe punishment like death, the suggestion is logic is weak or insufficient proof. We want direct biblical evidence that we can, for any case where we're going to say it's okay to kill somebody, right? We're now, obviously, we're going to go on to see what kind of direct biblical evidence they offer, and we'll talk about whether or not it really feels stronger than the logical argument, but that is at least the premise. Okay, so answer a couple of questions about the sugi to make sure you got it, and then we will continue from there on Wednesday.